friends, this is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead. Today we're going to make ketchup. Now, I've got some olive oil heating in my skillet here, and to start with, I'm not using the food mill, guys. I know you'll be relieved. We have a bowl this big of frozen tomatoes, and we're just going to very carefully drop these into boiling water. So I don't measure, guys, so I really don't know how many tomatoes this is. I suppose I could count. There we go. We'll pop those in there to blanch. And while they're doing that, we've got a bit of olive oil in our skillet here, and I've got 3 medium onions, 1 medium green pepper, and 1 banana hot pepper. Now, it really doesn't matter how big you cut your stuff up, as long as you kind of give them a light saute. Okay? We just want these to soften up, because they're going to go through the blender anyway with the tomatoes. Alright? So, while that's doing that, let's get our spices organized. Okay. You're also going to need 1 cup of cider vinegar, or vinegar of your choice, but I like organic mother-in cider vinegar, and 1 cup of brown sugar. And I think I just heard Papa pull in, so anyway, let's get back on this. So the brown sugar and the cider vinegar are key to flavor. They really are. Oops. Alrighty, now in our spice grinder, we're going to use about, I don't know, 7 to 10 peppercorns, and I don't know, what amounts to about a tablespoon of powdered garlic. I'll be powdering this up, so. Hi, Papa. We're making ketchup.
I was going to say, you're making some chili sauce.
No, not today. Not today. And so I've got, and my sea salt. About a teaspoon. You don't want too much. You don't need too much. There's going to be so much more flavor. What am I missing? Ooh, secret ingredient. Now, you folks are really going to have to pay attention, because I don't measure, and my ketchup always manages to taste somewhat the same, but always, I never measure. I go by taste. So I'm going to put in a pinch of cayenne, and I mean a pinch, and a pinch of allspice. We call this zippy ketchup. Now, if you don't have allspice, experiment. Try a little bit of nutmeg and cloves. Alrighty. We'll just grind this up. Let's get that cord away from our skillet, eh? Now remember, folks, when you're grinding spices, always give it time to settle before you open it. Let's have a little taste test. Something's missing, guys. Oh, of course, it's the onions and peppers. Duh. And the vinegar and the brown sugar. Alrighty, there's our spices ground up. And the reason I start out with so few spices is so that when it comes time, when it cooks down, you can always add a little bit of extra spice here and there. You know, tweak it, just in case it isn't quite what you want. But if you put too much spices in and then cook it down, you are stuck with the end result. Alright, we'll be back when these are sauteed. Whoops, I go throwing things around again. When these are sauteed, and I'm going to start peeling these and getting them ready for the blender. Alright, we have our first batch of peeled tomatoes in the blender. And we're just going to add, our sauteed veggies. Okay. Now we're just going to start blending with a bit of pulse. And I'm going to add a little bit of the vinegar to give it some liquid. There we go. Now a lot of people leave the skins on their tomatoes because if they're going to blend it. I don't. I just don't. I'm not fond of the idea of bits of tomato skin in my ketchup. Alrighty, there's the first. This part is really pale because of our onions and stuff. Alright, I'm going to blend up the rest of the tomatoes and add the sugar and vinegar and seasonings, and we'll cook it down. Okay, there's our brown sugar, the last of our vinegar, and our spices. Alrighty, here it goes into the pot, and I figure we'll probably get about 6 half pints of ketchup. Like I said, we don't eat a lot of ketchup, but my older son loves it, but my older son prefers everything homemade. My younger son prefers everything store-bought. You can't win them all, right?
Homemade and free.
Homemade and free, that's right. It's probably what he appreciates most about the homemade is that it's free. Okay, we are going to let this cook down until it's nice and, oops, sorry about the steam, nice and rich and red. And while that's cooking, I'm going to start cutting up cabbage for canning. Okay, friends, we're going ahead and we're canning our ketchup now. I actually put it in the fridge on Friday because it wasn't cooked down enough. And so I wanted to cook it down a little more, and well, we wanted to go to the camp. So we are going to bottle it up now. It's my first bottle. Remember, always, always, always fill it from 1 inch to the top. Wipe your rim. Make sure your lids have been nice and boiled. I'm only doing it in pints because we don't do a lot of ketchup. And into the canner this goes. Let's get another one. After this, I'm going to be redoing my cabbage video because the first one wasn't that great. And I want to make sure I do a better job this time. So we fill it. Always, always, always. And we're going to process these in a boiling bath canner for about 10 or 15 minutes. It doesn't take much because of the tomato and the vinegar and the sugar and the salt. This is really a high preservative, natural preservative acid content food. Anyway, we'll be back when I've got these all in the canner. Okay, there we go. We have 8 half pints in the canner for 10 to 15 minutes. And what's left over in the pot, I'm going to put in our fridge because hubby just told me we're out of ketchup. We'll be back when they come out of the canner. There it is, folks. 8 half pints and another probably pint and a half of my Homestead Ketchup. This bottle is actually going to go to my son in university because, well, he loves his mommy's ketchup. Alright, on to the next project. This is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead saying, you know what? Ketchup can be a lot of work, but oh, it is so worth it.